The Brooklyn Dodgers were a Major League Baseball team, active primarily in the National League from 1884 until 1957, after which the club moved to Los Angeles, California, where it continues its history as the Los Angeles Dodgers. The team moved west at the same time as its longtime rival, the New York Giants, also in the National League, relocated to San Francisco in Northern California as the San Francisco Giants. The team's name derived from the reputed skill of Brooklyn residents at evading the city's trolley street cars. The Dodgers played in two stadiums in South Brooklyn, each named Washington Park, and at Eastern Park in the neighborhood of Brownsville before moving to Ebbets Field in the neighborhood of Crown Heights in 1913. The team is noted for signing Jackie Robinson in 1947 as the first black player in the modern major leagues. Real estate businessman Walter Omley had acquired majority ownership of the Dodgers in 1950, when he bought Ricky's 25% share of the team and secured the support of the widow of another equal partner, John L. Smith. Soon Omley was working to buy new land in Brooklyn for a new, more accessible and better ballpark than Ebbets Field. Beloved as it was, Ebbets Field had grown old and was not well served by infrastructure, to the point where the Dodgers could not sell out the park to maximum capacity even in the heat of the pennant race, despite dominating the league from 1946 to 1957. New York City construction coordinator Robert Moses, however, sought to force Omley into using a site in Flushing Meadows, Queens, the eventual location of Shea Stadium, the home of the future New York Mets. Moses' vision involved a city-built, city-owned park, which was greatly at odds with Omley's real estate savvy. When Omley realized that he was not going to be allowed to buy a suitable parcel of land in Brooklyn, he began thinking of team relocation. Omley was free to purchase land of his own choosing but wanted Robert Moses to condemn one parcel of land along the Atlantic Railroad yards in downtown Brooklyn under Title I authority, after Omley had bought the bulk of the land he had in mind. Title I gave the city municipality power to condemn land for the purpose of building what it calls public purpose projects. Moses' interpretation of public purpose included public parks, public housing and public highways and bridges. What Omley wanted was for Moses to use Title I authority, rather than to pay market value for the land. With Title I, the city via Robert Moses could have sold the land to Omley at a below market price. Moses refused to honor Omley's request and responded, "If you want the land so bad, why don't you purchase it with your own money?" Meanwhile, non-stop transcontinental airline travel had become routine during the years since the Second World War, and teams were no longer bound by much slower railroad timetables. Because of civil aviation advances, it became possible to locate teams farther apart as far west as California while maintaining the same busy game schedules. When Los Angeles officials attended the 1956 World Series looking to entice a team to move there, they were not even thinking of the Dodgers. Their original target had been the Washington Senators franchise, which eventually moved to Bloomington, Minnesota to become the Minnesota Twins in 1961. At the same time, Omley was looking for a contingency in case Moses and other New York politicians refused to let him build the Brooklyn stadium he wanted, and sent word to the Los Angeles officials that he was interested in talking. Los Angeles offered him what New York did not: a chance to buy land suitable for building a ballpark, and own that ballpark, giving him complete control over all its revenue streams. At the same time, the National League was not willing to approve the Dodgers' move unless Omley found a second team willing to join them out west, largely out of concern for travel costs. Meanwhile, Giants owner Horace Stoneham was having similar difficulty finding a replacement for his team's antiquated home stadium, the Polo Grounds. Stoneham was considering moving the Giants to Minneapolis, but was persuaded instead to move them to San Francisco, ensuring that the Dodgers had a National League rival closer than St. Louis. So the two arch-rival teams, the Dodgers and Giants, moved out to the West Coast together after the 1957 season. The Brooklyn Dodgers played their final game at Ebbets Field on September 24, 1957, which the Dodgers won over the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Enjoyment, Brooklyn Dodger baseball. For real enjoyment, get Schaefer. It's real beer. For real enjoyment.
Hello.
Get Schaefer beer. For real enjoyment. Ask for Schaefer.
It's real beer.
For real refreshment.
Say it.
Get Schaefer beer.
Yeah.
For real refreshment. Ask for Schaefer.
It's real beer.
Yes, here come the Dodgers, and this is Vin Scully along with Jerry Doggett inviting you to stay with us now as they invade Connie Mack Stadium in Philadelphia to play the Phillies in the final game of 1957. All the doing sent you away with the compliments of the F&M Schaefer Brewing Company of Brooklyn, brewers of America's oldest lager beer, Schaefer, and also with the compliments of the American Tobacco Company on behalf of Lucky Strike, a light smoke, the best tasting cigarette you ever smoked. And now, before the ball game gets underway, for real enjoyment, have yourself a foaming glass of Schaefer. It's real beer. This broadcast, authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the Brooklyn National League Baseball Club Incorporated, solely for the entertainment of our listening audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Brooklyn National League Baseball Club Incorporated is prohibited. And so it's come down to this, September the 29th, 1957, and the final game of the year, the Dodgers and the Philadelphia Phillies. And in the closer, it'll be Roger Craig and Seth Moorhead. Craig, with a record of 6 victories and 8 defeats, is 2-2 against Philadelphia and lifetime 5-4. For the Phillies, Seth Moorhead, young left-hander, making his first start against Brooklyn, he is 0-1. So it'll be Moorhead and Craig in the final game of the year. The announcement being made and our crowd standing now for our national anthem. Philadelphia defensively for you now. The battery of Moorhead and Joe Lynette. At first it's Ed Boucher, then Solly Hemus, Chico Fernandez, and Willie Jones. In the outfield, Harry Anderson in left, Don Landrum in center, and Richie Ashburn around and right. Jake Fettler going to his first base coaching box, and over at third, Billy Herman. For Brooklyn, Jim Gilliam to lead it off, then Samoli and Perillo. Carl Perillo getting a shot in there on the final day, will be in right field. Hodges in the cleanup spot. Bob Kennedy in left, Randy Jackson at third, Don Zimmer the shortstop, Joe Pignatano the catcher, and Roger Craig the pitcher. Jim Gilliam coming up right now, and coming up for the F&M Schaefer Brewing Company of Brooklyn, brewers of Schaefer beer. On the last one for 57, here's Jerry Doggett.
Thanks, Ben. Hi, everyone. Jim Gilliam standing in there, batting from the right side, facing left-hander Seth Moorhead. The windup and the first pitch. Fastball comes down low, and it's ball 1. Well, it's kind of an oddity for the Dodgers to look at a left-hander. Right-handed pitchers have started against the last 47 games against the Dodgers, with Antonelli, the last left-hander, on August the 7th at Jersey City. Here's a high pop fly into short center field. Backing up for it, Solly Hemus. He makes the grab for the out. So Gilliam pops out to Hemus in short center. It's 1 up and 1 down. Coming on now will be Gino Samoli with Carl Perillo on deck and Gil Hodges to follow. Seth Moorhead making his first major league start. His record, no wins, 1 loss. He's relieved 33 times this year for Mayo Smith and the Philadelphia Phillies. Fastball is ripped in for a called strike 1. Gino Samoli deep in the batter's box. Gino hitting .294 with 10 home runs, 57 runs batted in. Here's the pitch. Curveball is in the dirt, and it's ball one, strike one. One count, one out, none on. Top of the first inning at Philadelphia. Moorhead into the windup, delivers. Samoli takes it outside for a ball, and the count is 2-1. Left-handers have started 5 times against Brooklyn this year, 3 times by Antonelli, once by Pete Burnside, and once by Louis Arroyo. The lefties have won none and lost 4. Antonelli 2, Burnside and Arroyo each 1. Here's the pitch. Inside for a ball 3. 3-1 now to Samoli. Left-handed relief pitchers have an 0-2 record against the Dodgers, losses by Davis and Mizell. So the Brooklyn record against lefties this year is 6 wins, no losses. Samoli swings and fouls it up in the upper deck, and the count is full, 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Gino Samoli. Carl Furillo on deck. Here's the pitch. A liner hitting to right center field. Ashburn coming on. Can't play it. It bounces in for a base hit. Ashburn's throw is back in to Hemus, and Samoli is on with a single to right center. Hit number 1, and the batter now will be Carl Furillo. Carl is hitting .307 and is the top Dodger hitter. Moorhead now looks to first base to Samoli, delivers to the plate. Furillo takes it inside, ball 1. Carl back in the lineup after being out over a week with a pulled leg muscle. One ball, no strikes. Moorhead out of a stretch, eyes Samoli off first. Gino a 2-step lead. The pitch to the plate, curve for a strike, and the count is 1-1. One count. There's a ground ball hit through the hole to left field for a base hit. Samoli into second base, holds up now and then starts for third as Anderson bobbles the ball. The throw is not in time. Furillo slides into second base, and the play there not in time. So it's a base hit for Carl Furillo, a ground single to the left side. Anderson kicked the ball around in left field. Samoli, after holding up at second base, tore into third. The throw to third baseman Jones was not in time, and Jones then fired back to second base. Not in time there, as Hemus made a tag on Furillo too late. So it'll be a single and an error. A single by Furillo to left field and an error by the left fielder Anderson to advance the runners an extra base. Here's Gil Hodges at bat now. Gil hung on 97 runs batted in, has a chance right now to pick up 2 or 3. Here's the pitch. A drive hit the center field is well tagged. Over for it goes Landrum, makes the grab. Here's the runner tag. The throw comes to third base and is cut off by Fernandez. In comes Samoli to score. The Dodgers lead. Hodges with a scoring fly ball hit deep to center field. Landrum hauling it down. Samoli scoring after the catch, and Furillo going to third. So run batted in number 98 for Hodges put in the books. Gil needs to get 2 more later in the game. Here's Bob Kennedy coming on now. Bob playing in left field. Bob has 1 home run, 4 runs batted in, used mainly as a pinch hitter this season. We have 2 outs, man at third base, and the pitch down is in for a strike. Moorhead finding the outside corner with a fastball. Strike 1 count to Bob Kennedy. Randy Jackson on deck with Don Zimmer to follow. Moorhead into the windup, and here's his pitch. Kennedy takes a strike 2. Fastball at the belt. 0-2 count on Bob. Final game of the year. The Dodgers and the Phillies winding up 1957 season here at Connie Mack Stadium in Philadelphia. Moorhead into the windup. Here's the pitch. Curveball bounced up the third baseline, foul. Billy Herman fields it in the coaching lines. Strike 2 on Kennedy. Here's the pitch. Bob swings and misses. Strike three. Kennedy down on strikes. Side retired. Moorhead getting his first strike out of the game. And the Dodgers in the first inning show 1 run, 2 hits, 1 error by the Phillies, and for Brooklyn, 1 man left on. So at the end of a half inning of play, it is Brooklyn 1 and the Phillies coming to bat. Now here's a word from Vin.
Well, say, did you ever stop to think how you buy some things because they're new and others because they're not? Well, sure, in something like a car or a washing machine, you naturally would like the very latest model. But when it comes to beer, now there's where only good old-time brewing skill pays off. And I mean Schaefer beer, of course. Only in Schaefer do you get the flavor and satisfaction that comes from over 115 years of brewing experience. Yes, sir, Schaefer is America's oldest lager beer. And boy, what a wonderful tradition of fine brewing goes into every can and bottle of Schaefer. The selection of the rich barley malt, tangy hops, and other fine natural ingredients. Well, it all adds up to one thing, enjoyment. And enjoyment is yours in every golden amber glass of Schaefer beer. For real enjoyment, you choose Schaefer every time. It's real beer. You see that big ad in the newspapers the other day showing the first Schaefer family, meaning, of course, the folks who work for Schaefer, along with the officials of the brand new company, and they were out on their first big picnic back in 1842. Well, it makes you think about what a great company to last that long and continue to serve you beer at its best. So next time you want a cold glass of Schaefer, remember 115 years of brewing skill back of every glass of Schaefer beer. Okay, here's Jerry.
All right, Ashburn is the batter as Craig fires the first pitch. It's swung on and foul just outside third. Strike 1 to Ritchie. 297 average for Ashburn. No home runs for the year. 33 runs batted in. Don Landrum on deck and Ed Boucher to follow. Roger Craig into the windup. Delivers outside for a ball, and the count is 1-1. Craig is 6-8 on the year and has a 2-2 record against the Phillies this season. 5-4 lifetime. The Dodgers lead 1-0. Here's the pitch. High, bounces off Pignatano's glove back to the wire. And it's 2 balls, 1 strike on Ashburn. 2-1 the count. Ashburn at bat with Landrum on deck, Boucher to follow. The Dodger run in the first inning was unearned. A pair of singles and an error. And then a scoring fly by Gil Hodges got the run in. Craig bends down looking for the sign. Ashburn steps out a minute to get a handful of dirt. Jackson playing in at third to guard against the bunt by Ashburn. Ashburn very fast and a good bunter, likes to dump him. Here's a fastball for a strike 2 and the count 2-2. Don Zimmer at shortstop. Don a little bit under the weather today. Says, here we go to the last day of the season. I feel like I'm catching the flu. Gilliam at second base, and at first base, Gil Hodges. Kennedy in left, Samoli in center, Ferrillo in right. A fastball is outside, ball 3-2. One of the few times of the season, manager Walt Austin inserting his lineup that he calls his left-hand lineup, going against left-hand pitching, using all the right-handers. Here's the pitch. A bouncer hit toward shortstop. Big hop to Zimmer. Gunsy Stroll in time for the out. 1 away. Ashburn bounces out. Zimmer to Hodges. Here's Landrum coming on now. Don Landrum, the center fielder, had 1 for 4 in his major league debut yesterday. Landrum, a left-hand hitter, hit 300 down at Miami. Craig into the windup. Here's the pitch. In for a strike at the knees on the inside corner. 0-1 on the left-hand batter. Boucher on deck and Anderson to follow. Here's a curve for a strike, and it's 0-2. Craig took a little off that time and got it in there around the letters. And the count, no balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Up high for a ball. 1-2 now with 1 out, none on. The Dodgers lead 1-0, bottom of the first inning. Here's the windup and pitch. Curveball is outside, ball 2. 2-2 to Landrum. Now Roger Craig checks his sign. The windup, and here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Fastball poured in, and Landrum goes down on strikes. Strikeout number 1 for Craig. 2 away, and Ed Boucher coming on. Boucher hitting .291, 16 home runs, 74 runs batted in. Boucher, a left-hand hitter, and the Phillies Rookie of the Year, named by the Sporting News. Here's a fastball in for a strike at the outside corner. Roger Craig, 6-8 on the year. Here's the pitch. Curve strike, and it's 0-2 on Boucher. Craig into the windup, pitching to Boucher. A little high for ball, and the count 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Fastball high for ball 2, and it's 2-2. Well, the Dodgers will be making their various ways toward their homes after today's ball game. A lot of the boys leaving right from Philadelphia. A few going back into New York before checking out for home. Some, of course, live in the New York area. Some have wintertime occupations. Some just going to take it easy. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Curve is low for a ball, and the count 3-2. A number of the Dodgers will be going off to play winter ball in Cuba, Venezuela, and Dominican Republic. Some selling cars, some playing golf. There's a foul ball out of play down the left side, and the count to Boucher stays at 3-2. The most unusual wintertime occupation by a Dodger will be Joe Becker's job. Joe, after a few days of hunting and fishing in Missouri, will go to Arkansas and train mules. That's a real tough job. And here's ball 4 to Boucher. He's on with a walk. So base on balls number 1 given up by Craig, and it brings up Harry Anderson, left-hand hitting left fielder. Yeah, we asked Joe about training those mules, and he says, well, pretty good job. I'm not kidding you about it. I said, what's the hardest to do, train mules or train these pitchers? He says, well, pitchers, of course, will listen, but every now and then you get one that's about as stubborn as a mule, and then you have to really crack the whip on them. Anderson takes one in the dirt. It skips through Pignatano back to the wire. Down to second base goes Boucher, makes his turn there and holds up as Pignatano goes back to the screen to retrieve, and it is a wild pitch by Roger Craig. Boucher on second base, and the count ball 1 on Anderson. Sandy Koufax and Don Drysdale will spend the winter in the Army. They'll be out next April. Ball 1 count to Anderson. Boucher on second base, 2 away here in the first inning. Craig sets, delivers. The curveball is low, and it's ball 2. Brooklyn leads 1-0. The Dodgers got a run in the first inning. Singles by Samoli and Perillo with an error in left field by Anderson. There's a bounder foul hit down the first baseline. Wally Moses and Andy Semenick over there today. Wally's on the third baseline. Ball went by Andy. And the count 2 balls, 1 strike on Anderson. The F&M Schaefer Brewing Company of Brooklyn sending you this final broadcast of the year from Philadelphia. Our Schaefer Award winners for the week, by the way, are Gino Samoli and Danny McDevitt. All right, a 2-1 count on Anderson. Swing and a foul tip. Bounced off umpire Tony Venzone back to the wire. And it's 2-2. Venzone inspects his mask. Got a dent in it from that foul ball. 2-2 on Anderson. Harry batting .270 with 17 home runs. Roger Craig out of a stretch. Eyes Boucher at second. Delivers. He struck him out. A swing and a miss on a fastball toward him there, and Anderson down on strikes. For Craig, strikeout number 2, and the side retired with no runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left on. So at the end of 1 inning of play, it is Brooklyn 1 and the Phillies nothing. All right, Ben.
Well, friends, I don't know about you, but our idea of the height of convenience is to save ourselves steps, especially when there are guests in the house and you'd like to spend more time seeing them, not running back and forth to the kitchen. Well, that in a nutshell is why the Schaefer party-size full-quart bottle is ideal. Boy, you get yourself a supply of Schaefer quarts when you have company coming in, and you're all set. Because when you open up a Schaefer full-quart bottle, you can pour out 4 good full glasses of real enjoyment, and enjoy it they will, if they go for taste that's as bright and fresh as a friendly greeting. You serve your guests Schaefer beer from convenient party-size full-quart bottles. You'll appreciate the ease. You'll all appreciate the taste. It's real beer. The end of 1 inning, the Dodgers 1, Philadelphia nothing. Brooklyn coming up in the 2nd inning with Randy Jackson to lead the parade, and right back to Jerry.
Okay, Vinny. Randy Jackson steps in. Randy hitting .202. Has 2 home runs, 16 runs batted in. On the mound, Seth Moorhead working for the Phillies today. Jackson, Zimmer, Pignatano, first 3 to appear in the 2nd. Curveball is in on the outside corner for a called strike. 0-1 to Ransom. Randy will spend the winter selling insurance down in Athens, Georgia. Fastball is low and the count is 1-1. Here's the windup and pitch. Randy takes it inside. Ball 2. A little low also. 2 balls, 1 strike on Randy. Now the windup, the 2-1 pitch. Foul ball hit back upstairs, up to the edge of the roof and back down again. And an even count of 2-2. Here's the 2-2 windup, and the pitch is way outside high for ball 3. And to Jackson, a full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Moorhead winds and fires. Randy takes it high, and he's on with a walk. So, base on balls number 1 given up by Moorhead. Coming on now will be Don Zimmer. Zimmer hitting .222. Don's going to take off tonight for St. Petersburg, Florida. Play a little golf, do a little fishing, and then go to work in the construction business. First pitch down is swung on and missed for a strike 1 to Zimmer. Seth Moorhead, working for the Phillies, led the International League in strikeouts last year with 168. Here's a fastball up high, and the count is even 1-1. He's making his first start of this year. He's been in 33 games in relief. Record against the league 0-1. Here's the pitch. Taken high for ball 2, and the count now 2 balls, 1 strike to Don Zimmer. 2-1 reading. Fastball in at the hands for a called strike, and the count 2-2. Even up to Zimmer now, 1 on, nobody out. Dodgers lead 1-0, playing in the top half of the 2nd inning. Zimmer at bat. Jackson a few steps off first. Moorhead eyes the runner now. Here's the pitch. Zimmer swings and misses, strike 3. Down on strikes, and that's the second strikeout chalked up by Moorhead. Joe Pignatano coming on. Joe hitting .273, 1 home run, 1 run batted in, no home runs, and 3 hits, 11 trips to the plate. So Pignatano up there with 1 on, 1 out, and the Dodgers out in front, 1-0. Curveball is outside, ball 1. The Philly infield playing double play depth. Jones at third, Fernandez at short, Hemus at second, Boucher at first base holding Jackson on. Anderson, Landrum, and Ashburn in the outfield. Here's the pitch. A bouncer hit up the third baseline. Jones makes his play to Hemus for 1. Back to first base. Not in time. Pignatano beats it out. Joe runs pretty good, and he was down that line in a hurry and avoids the double play. Out at second base is Jackson from Jones to Hemus. So a force play puts Pignatano on first and brings on Roger Craig. Craig has 4 for 27, which figures out at 148. No runs batted in and no home runs for Raj. It's Brooklyn 1 and Philadelphia nothing here in the season finale at Philadelphia. Well, I don't know how you fans feel about it, but it seems to us that the season just got started a few days ago and that really has flown by in a hurry. All right, Pignatano off first, and Moorhead pitches to Craig. Roger takes a strike. Fastball at the knees, and it's 0-1. Strike 1 count. Craig waiting. Here's the pitch. On the corner for a called strike 2. 0-2 on Roger. Pignatano at first base on a force play. 2 outs. Dodgers got a run in the first to lead 1-0. Seth Moorhead, left-hander for the Phillies, checks. Here's the pitch. Foul ball hit back upstairs. And the count stays. Strike 2 on Craig. Two pitch. Craig swings a bounding ball out towards second. Hemus comes in, shovels to Fernandez. Force play on Pignatano, and the side retired. So for the Dodgers in the second, no runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left on. So at the end of an inning and a half, the score is Brooklyn 1 and Philadelphia nothing. And now here's Vin.
Well, you know, back 100 or more years ago, back in the days when folks around New York first began to enjoy Schaefer beer, all the beer was sold, and most of it was consumed right in the neighborhood tavern. The tavern was a friendly place where you stopped off to chat and relax and quench your thirst. You know what? Well, sure, the tavern still is a place where you stop off to chat and relax and quench your thirst. I don't know how much chatting you've a mind to do, but I can tell you the relaxing and the thirst quenching is mighty good these days, as is the Schaefer beer. It comes in nowadays in fine stainless steel barrels. And your friend the bartender has it all ready for you at just the right temperature for wonderful, light, and lively flavor to give you beer at its flavorful best. So for real enjoyment, stop in at your favorite tavern and make it Schaefer beer. It's real beer. The late columnist of the Journal-American, E.V. Durling, used to have a little section, and he'd refer to people as young old-timers. And then he'd come up with a fact, and if you remembered it, you would be in that class. And I guess you would be considered a young old-timer talking about beer and Schaefer beer and the neighborhood taverns. Do you remember the expression around your neighborhood of rushing the growler? It might be just a New York expression. Yes, we remember when they rushed the growler. 1-0 Brooklyn. Bottom of the second inning. Willie Jones, the batter, and here's Jerry.
All right, Jones stepping in, hitting .220, 9 home runs, 47 runs batted in. Jones at bat, Hemus on deck, and Fernandez to follow. Roger Craig rubs up the baseball, getting set to go. Rod's into the windup, and here's his pitch to Jones. High pop foul coming back. It'll be out of play up on the roof. Strike 1 on Jones. Here's the pitch. Curveball for a strike 2. Hit the outside corner, and Jones had a look at it. 0-2 to Willie. Outfield and infield playing Jones to pull. Right-hand batter. 0-2 pitch. Outside for a ball. 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Jones at bat, Hemus on deck, and Fernandez to follow. The windup and pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Jones down on strike. Strikeout number 3 for Craig. And before Hemus comes on, we'll pause now for station identification. This is the Brooklyn Dodgers Radio Network.
Dial 1460 WOKO, Albany, New York, the Capital District's most talked about station, with downtown studios in the Hotel Wellington.
Solly Hemus at bat now. A little left-hand hitter playing second base, hitting 190. Takes Craig's first offering in for a called strike. Craig has struck out 3, has walked 1. The Dodgers lead 1-0. We're playing in the last half of the second. Roger into the windup, and here's his pitch. Foul ball, cut back of the plate. Pignatano giving it a chase now, back toward the box seat, and can't play it. It's just out of play. Boy, a couple of teenage girls fighting for that one. Bouncing along after that baseball. One of them's a little older than a teenager, though. They really went scrapping for it. I mean, they're going after that baseball. Strike 2 count on Hemus. Craig into the windup, and here's his pitch. Fly ball into short center field. Zimmer goes out, makes his call now, and turns, makes the grab for the out. 2 away. Hemus popping to Zimmer in short center. 2 up, 2 down, and here's Chico Fernandez coming on. Chico was up there, now turns and goes back to the bat rack. He forgot to get the helmet. Now he puts it on and comes on out again. Fernandez hitting .262, 5 home runs, 51 runs batted in. Two outs. Roger Craig for the Dodgers. Brooklyn leads 1-0 on a run picked up in the first inning on 2 singles, an error, and a scoring fly by Gil Hodges. Fastball is over for a strike. Chico had a look at it, now goes out and snatches at a handful of dirt. 0-1 count on Fernandez. Jackson playing up close at third, even with a bag, about 3 steps off the line. There's a bouncer foul past third, and it's strike 2 on Fernandez. Roger Craig into the windup. Here's his pitch. Curveball is a little low. Ball 1. 1-2. Last half of the second inning. The windup and pitch. Fly ball to left field. Bob Kennedy slides over, turns, and makes the grab for the out. Side retired. 1-2-3 in the second. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left on. So that's the end of 2 innings of play with a score in the ball game. Brooklyn 1 and Philadelphia 0. Now here's Vin.
Well, friends, time running out, of course, this being the last day of the season, and it's just about the last time to remind you about our Schaefer Lucky Strike Baseball Guide and Record Book. It will be our last offer, and we'll repeat it to you now. It can be picked up easily. Just send 50 cents, your name and address, to Baseball Guide, Box 35, Brooklyn 1, New York. 50 cents, your name and address, to Baseball Guide, Box 35, Brooklyn 1, New York. The end of 2 innings of play, Brooklyn 1 and Philadelphia 0. Roger Craig and Seth Moorhead. Alan Roth, who was born in Canada, had never heard and wanted to know what the meaning of rushing the growler meant. Some of you folks who might not remember those days, that might be the man of the house wanted to have some cold beer with his dinner. Send somebody down to the corner pub with a small pail, cup of some sort. And they'd fill it up with cold beer, and then that other person would bring it back home. sometimes used to even kind of be shy about it. And I think I know one or two old men used to put a little sheet over the little pail of beer and say it was a bird cage. All right, Jerry.
Okay, Jim Gilliam at bat. Hits a pop foul off to the right, coming down and right behind the Dodger dugout. Out of play, and it's strike one on Gilliam. Gilliam batting in the third inning. Samoli is on deck, and Perillo to follow. Junior hitting .249. Started out today at .250, but he popped out his first time up. Batting right against left-hander Seth Moorhead. Here's the windup, and down comes the pitch. Pop foul around the plate. Down the line comes Boucher at first base, goes out across the foul line now and makes the grab for out number one. So Gilliam fouls out to Boucher down the first baseline. And Gino Samoli coming on. We'd like to remind you, friends, of Schaefer's special television show, World Series Sidelights, October 5th and 6th, next Saturday and Sunday. And it will be at 2:30. Vince Scully will be on hand to have some very fine baseball guests for you. World Series Sidelights brought to you by Schaefer. Next Saturday and Sunday at 2:30. Consult your newspaper TV section for the station. World Series Sidelights with Vince Scully, brought to you by Schaefer. A let up pitches inside to Samoli, and the count goes ball two. Gino 2-0. Singled his first time up. Went to third on a base hit and an error, and scored on a fly ball by Hodges. 2-0 count. Moorhead into the windup. Gino hits a ground ball to third. Jones to his right makes a nice stop. Throw is in time for the out, and it's 2 away. Samoli grounding out, third to first. Here's Carl Perillo coming on now. Carl singled to left field and on the base hit. Anderson bobbled in left to allow Perillo to go to second. Carl hitting .309. Lifetime batting average an even .300 before this year. So Carl is cinched to keep that .300 average, and he might gain a point or two. Moorhead into the windup. Here's the pitch. Swinging a high fly ball hitting the center field. Landrum slides over toward left center, makes the call, and has it for the out. Side retired. Perillo flying out to center. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left on. So at the end of 2.5 innings of play, it is Brooklyn 1 and Philadelphia nothing. Well, now, while the field changes hands, let's have a couple of young friends take the spotlight. How about it?
For real enjoyment,
Hello.
get Schaefer beer. For real enjoyment, ask for Schaefer.
It's real beer.
For real refreshment,
Say it.
get Schaefer beer.
Yeah.
For real refreshment, ask for Schaefer.
It's real beer. That's a real trumpet. That's real beer.
For real enjoyment, get Schaefer beer. For real enjoyment, ask for Schaefer.
It's real beer.
Last half of the third, it'll be Joe Larnett, Seth Moorhead, and Richie Ashburn to face Roger Craig. The score in the ball game is 1-0. The Dodgers out in front. Larnett hitting .165, 5 home runs, 15 runs batted in. And here's the windup by Craig. Pitch is fouled away, right back to the wire. Strike one. Craig ready again. Checking his sign now. Delivers. A liner hit to right field is going to be in for a base hit. The ball goes by to the wall. Perillo plays the rebound. Larnett around on his way to second base and in with a stand-up double. Hit number one off Craig. A double to right field by Joe Larnett. And it brings on the pitcher, Seth Moorhead. Larnett slicing that drive to right field all the way to the wall. Pitcher Seth Moorhead due up now. Moorhead, as a batter, is 0 for 3 this year. Okay, Moorhead, left-hand hitter. Hodges sneaking in at first looking for a bunt. And the pitch is low outside, ball 1. Dodgers figure Moorhead to be bunting the runner to third. Lonette on at second, leading off here in the third inning with a double to right. Ball 1 count on Moorhead. Ashburn on deck. Here's the look, the pitch. Moorhead takes it high for ball 2. Count 2-0. Roger Craig working for the Dodgers here in this season finale. Two balls, no strikes. Moorhead, left-hand hitter. Here's the pitch. In for a strike, taking. And it's 2-1. Moorhead just stood there, didn't indicate that he was going to bunt or swing away, just let it come by. Two-one pitch. Moorhead bunts it up the first baseline. Hodges now will make the play, goes to the line and tags Moorhead as down to third goes Lonette. Sacrifice for Moorhead. Hodges unassisted. Coming on is Richie Ashburn. Ashburn grounded out to shortstop his first time up. The Dodger infield will play up now on the right side. Zimmer playing halfway back at shortstop. Jackson playing close at third. On the right side, Hodges and Gilliam up at the edge of the grass. So they'll try to hold Lonette at third. Craig's pitch is outside, ball 1. Outfield slightly to the left against Ashburn. They play him to punch instead of to pull. The windup in the pitch. A drive hit the left field. Coming on for it is Kennedy. Runner tagged to third. Kennedy's throw is in and cut off as Lonette beats it back to third, holding up. Kennedy made a good throw in, and Jackson cut it off as Lonette bluffed coming in and then held up. So Ashburn lines to Kennedy in left field, and Bob's throw holds Lonette at third. Coming on now will be Don Landrum, who struck out his first time. Landrum now 1 for 5 in his big league debut. Hitting an even 200. 2 outs, runner at third base. Landrum the batter. Lonette had to hold up. Kennedy made a good throw in and might have had him. Here's the pitch. Bunt out in front of the plate. Craig comes down, makes his play in time for the outside retired. Landrum trying to bunt for the base hit and is thrown out by Roger Craig. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on. So that's the end of 3 innings of play with a score. Brooklyn 1 and Philadelphia 0. Well, let's check now on the Schaefer scoreboard and see what's happening in all the other games on this final day of the 1957 season. Okay, Vin.
Well, the Pirates and the Giants, it'll be Bob Friend and Johnny Antonelli. The ball game not as yet underway. Cincinnati and Milwaukee, Hook and Buell, no report there. Chicago and St. Louis, probable pitchers Rush and Barnes. In the American League, the Yankees and Red Sox, Ditmar and Bowman. At the end of 1 inning, no score. Cleveland, Chicago, no report yet. Daly and Latman. Baltimore and Washington, Johnson and Griggs had just got underway, and Baltimore did not score in the first inning. Kansas City and Detroit, Hill against Rosman, and no report. So our Schaefer scoreboard kind of quiet right now in the early part of the day. As soon as we have other scores, we'll pass them along to you. In our game, at the end of 3, the Dodgers a run on 2 hits, and Philadelphia no runs on 1 hit and 1 error. It's Seth Moorhead and Roger Craig. Now, as we get ready to go to the 4th inning, Gil Hodges will lead off, and let's get back to Jerry.
Okay, Vinny, and a reminder again to the friends to be sure and mark their TV program schedules next Saturday and Sunday, October 5th and 6th. Circle 2:30, and be sure to tune in and see the Schaefer program, World Series Sidelights with Vin Scully. Then we'll have some fine guests on hand, and we'll talk some very inside baseball before the series games on Saturday and Sunday. Here's Gil Hodges at bat. Gil got a sacrifice fly his first time up, drove in the Dodger run. Looks at a curveball that's up high, and it's ball 1. Ball 1 count on Hodges. Kennedy on deck and Jackson to follow. Moorhead delivers. Gill takes a strike, and the count is even at 1-1. Hodges now has 98 runs batted in and 27 homers, hitting .299. One ball, one strike to Gill. Moorhead into the windup, and here's his pitch. High and outside, ball 2, 2-1. One count. Moorhead delivers. Outside, ball 3. 3-1 now to Hodges. Brooklyn leads 1-0. We're playing in the 4th inning. Three balls, one strike. The windup, and here's the pitch. Hodges swings a drive down the left field line. It's going to be in there for a base hit in the corner all the way to the wall. Gill around, digs for second, and he's in there with a stand-up double. Hodges a line drive in the corner in left field for a two-bagger. That is hit number 3 off Seth Moorhead and gives the Dodgers a start here in the 4th inning with nobody out. Bob Kennedy coming on. Bob struck out his first time. Well, the base hit for Gill might put him at the 300 mark. He's at 299, and Alan Ross says, yes, it does. So Hodges right there with 1 for 1 today at 300. Here's the pitch. High pop fly around the mound. In comes Solly Hemus, and waits, makes the grab for the out. Kennedy out on a high pop fly just behind the mound, slightly to the second base side. Here's Randy Jackson due up now. Randy walked his first time. Hodges on second base, 1 out. 4th inning. The Dodgers lead 1-0. Jackson, right-hand hitter. Moorhead delivers. The fastball is low, ball 1. One ball, no strikes on Ransom Jackson. Now again, Moorhead out of a stretch. Eyes Hodges at second base. Pitch to the plate. Pop foul coming back. This one's going to be out of play. Lonette followed it back a while, watched it sail to the roof. And back it comes onto the playing field. One ball, one strike on Jackson. Moorhead ready again. Hodges down off second. Here's the pitch. Jackson swings and pops it up into short center field. Solly Hemus going out, makes the call. Now Landrum comes on and drives Hemus off and makes the catch. So Landrum, dashing it from center field, called Hemus off the ball after Solly had raised his hand indicating that he was there. So we have 2 outs now, and Don Zimmer coming on. Don went down swinging his first time up. On second base, Hodges led off the inning with a double to left. Now Moorhead ready. Here's the look and the pitch. Fastball high outside, ball 1. Don Zimmer waiting. Hodges off second. Brooklyn run came in the first inning, and that's all the scoring we've had. 1-0 Dodgers lead. Curveball is in for a strike, and the count 1-1. That would nick the outside corner around the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike to Don. Now again, Moorhead out of a stretch. Pitch. High pop fly off to the right of home plate, foul. Lonette now going back for it. He's under it and makes the catch for the out. Zimmer fouls out to Lonette, off to the right of home plate. So the Dodgers out in the 4th with no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and had 1 man left on. So at the end of 3.5 innings of play, it's Brooklyn 1 and Philadelphia nothing.
Blow the whistle, ring the bell. Now's the time to run like...
Oh, get out.
Did you say get out?
Yes, I said get out and get Rose's deal on Oldsmobile, because Rose is offering some good deals on their current stock of 1957 cars before the new models come out in November.
Learn why over 67% of Rose Oldsmobile sales are to repeat customers. There's a reason.
Rose Oldsmobile maintains in their modern service shop all the latest equipment and instruments for offering continuing warranty service on every Olds they sell.
Yes, and you'll like the way they treat you at Rose Oldsmobile. Remember, Rose is offering some very fine deals on 1957 Oldsmobiles right now before the new models come out in November. So hurry on down, get Rose's deal on Oldsmobile.
That's Rose Oldsmobile, the Capital District's oldest franchise Oldsmobile dealer, over 30 years at Central and Manning.
Get Rose's deal on Oldsmobile. Get Rose's deal on Oldsmobile. Get Rose's deal.
Rose Oldsmobile, Central and Manning in Albany.
Last of the fourth inning, 1-0 Brooklyn. Phillies coming up. Right back to Jerry.
Okay, Vinny, it'll be Ed Boucher who walked his first time. Boucher batting third, Anderson on deck, and Jones to follow. Roger Craig now checking signs with catcher Joe Pignatano. Boucher hitting .291, swings and fouls it off. Back upstairs, strike one. In case you joined us late, the Dodger run came in the first inning with one out. Samoli singled, Perillo singled, and when Anderson bobbled the ball in left field, both runners took an extra base, and then Hodges hit a scoring fly ball to center to score Samoli. Fastball is low, and the count to Boucher, 1 ball, 1 strike. Last half of the fourth inning. Roger Craig into the windup, and here's his pitch. In for a strike 2, 1-2. A 2 pitch. Craig into the windup. Here it is. Boucher swings and tops it. Fouls it off. Back of the plate. 1-2. Roger into the windup, and here it is. Curve is a little tight. Ball 2, and the count 2-2. Pitch. Swung on and fouled off down the left field line. It'll be out of play. Bounces into the stands way down in the left field corner. And the count holds at 2-2 on Ed Boucher. Roger Craig checking his sign. Here's the windup, and down comes his pitch. Boucher takes it high for a ball, and the count full now, 3-2. 2. Wind up, and here's the pitch. Low for a ball, and Boucher is on for the second time of the walk. Walk number 2 off Craig. Batter now, Harry Anderson, who went down on strikes his first time up. Anderson, left-hand hitting left fielder, hitting .269. Anderson swings from the left side. Boucher on with nobody out here in the fourth inning. Craig now eyes the runner. Here's the pitch. Anderson swings and pops it up off the third baseline foul. Pignatano giving it a try. He's over. He makes the catch for the out. Joe Pignatano racing over in front of the Philadelphia dugout on the left side. Hauled down that pop foul, and Anderson is out. One away. Batter now will be Willie Jones. Willie, first time, went down on strikes. So one out, one on, fourth inning, and at first base, Boucher. With the Dodger infield now against Jones, playing double play depth. And they played Jones to pull. Here's Craig's pitch. Ground ball to third. Jackson goes to second for one. To first base, easy double play to retire the side. That one going 5-4-3, and that's all for Philadelphia in the fourth inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left on. So the score at the end of 4 is Brooklyn 1 and Philadelphia nothing. Well, friends, we'd like to remind you once more of the fine program presented by Schaefer next Saturday and Sunday, October the 5th and 6th. World Series sidelights. Vin Scully will be on hand with some very interesting baseball guests and some fine baseball information for you. That's World Series sidelights presented by Schaefer Beer next Saturday and Sunday, October 5th and 6th, before the World Series games from Milwaukee. And they'll be on at 2:30. Be sure and consult your TV listings for the station. World Series sidelights brought to you by Schaefer next Saturday and Sunday. Well, friends, the first half of this game was brought to you by the F&M Schaefer Brewing Company of Brooklyn, brewers of Schaefer Beer, America's oldest lager beer. It's real beer. Now your host for the next 5 innings will be Lucky Strike, a light smoke, the best tasting cigarette you ever smoked. It's made by the American Tobacco Company, and tobacco is our middle name. Okay, we move along now to the top of the 5th inning of the ball game. And moving in for the play-by-play for Lucky Strike, here's Vin Scully. Vin?
Thank you, Jerry. Hi, everybody. Joe Pignatano first up there and looks at a curveball in for the strike, 0-1. Joe hit into a force play in the 2nd inning, batting .250. 1-0 Brooklyn, 5th inning, in the final game of the year. Seth Moorhead ready to deliver. Back he comes, and the slow curve is in and over, strike 2. Pignatano, Craig, and Gilliam, the way the Dodgers come up here in the 5th inning. The strike 2 pitch to Pignatano, curveball, foul tip to the plate. The count remains 0-2. Moorhead back again with the 0-2 pitch, and a fastball is cut on. The high fly ball into shallow right center. Don Landrum coming over and calling, waits and takes it. 1 up, 1 away. Yes, this is the day, this is the time of the year when the ball players, especially on the Brooklyn club, are not so much asking who's going to pitch tomorrow, what kind of stuff does he have. Instead, the big question, how do you get to the turnpike? How do you get south? How do you get north? Road maps all over the place instead of scouting reports. They're heading for the hills. Roger Craig batting .143. Hit into a force play in the 2nd inning, 0-1. Moorhead delivers, fastball that's fouled away, 0-1. Craig taking big swings up there. Moorhead ready, and the strike 1 pitch. Fastball a little high, 1-1. Out, bases empty here in the 5th inning. 1-0 Brooklyn. Moorhead ready and delivers 1-1. And a high fastball. Craig tries to check his swing and can't do it. 1-2. Lucky Strike blowing smoke rings to you on the final day of the year for 1957. From Connie Mack Stadium in Philadelphia, and as always, wishing you the very best. 1-2 pitch, a fastball that got him looking. So Craig gets to walk back to the dugout. 2 down in the 5th inning. Jim Gilliam, the batter, popped up and fouled out. Carl Erskine was talking about how what a difference a few years makes. Carl, being the player representative of the Brooklyn Ball Club, had received a number of telegrams the last few days here at Philadelphia. He got one in particular that's kind of a story. Fastball to Gilliam in for a strike, 0-1. Erskine was saying how he remembered in high school his baseball coach got him an autograph that he really prized. The telegram that he received just the other day in quest of World Series tickets was from the same ball player whose autograph Erskine got in his high school days, Bob Feller. Moorhead double pumping on Gilliam. Now delivers, and the fastball is taken for a strike. 1-2. Jim popped up and fouled out, hitting .249. Gilliam would hardly concur with Roy Campanella's description of 1957. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Junie. Curveball cut on it to right field, sinking now, and drops in front of Ashburn for the base hit. So Gilliam with maybe a 250 batting average right now. All Campanella says when you ask him about this year, Roy just shakes his head and says, I think the whole year was a mistake. Well, I guess in Campanella's life, you start numbering the years, 1955, 56, 58. And you forget all about 57. That's hit number 4 off Seth Moorhead. Gino Cimoli has singled to right and bounced out. He's hitting .294. Hadn't been a mistake for Cimoli, however. He's had a fine year. 10 home runs, 57 runs batted in. Moorhead delivers, and the curve is whacked to center. Landrum goes in, now has to go back a couple of steps and grabs it for the out. He's a very fast outfielder, and so quick that even though he might commit himself in the wrong direction, he can change and get back there in time, as he did on that play. Cimoli lines out to center, and for Brooklyn, in the 5th inning. No runs, 1 hit, a man left on. No Philadelphia errors. And at the end of 4.5 innings of play, Brooklyn 1, Philadelphia nothing. All right, Jerry.
Well, right at this moment, fans, got any idea how many smokers across the country are lighting up Luckies? How many folks are settling back to enjoy a light smoke, a better tasting smoke? Well, I'd say countless thousands. Yes, sir, they know that fine tobacco alone tastes right. And Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. All fine tobacco. Naturally light, good-tasting tobacco that's toasted to taste even better. Keep a carton of Lucky's handy. And when it's light-up time for you, light up a light smoke. Light up a Lucky, the best-tasting cigarette you ever smoked.
For the taste that you like, light up a Lucky Strike. Light up a light smoke, a Lucky Strike.
Here we go to play, and for more action, here's Vin.
Solly Hemus, the batter, here in the 5th inning. 1-0 Brooklyn. Roger Craig delivers, and Solly swings and doesn't get it. 0-1. Hemus popped out in the 2nd inning. Solly hitting .189. Craig to his windup, and the strike 1 pitch, a fastball. It's in there again, strike 2. 0-2. Craig to his windup, and the strike 2 pitch. Hemus swings and hits it off the end of the bat. Foul. Count remains, no balls, 2 strikes. Rogers given up 1 hit. The double by Lynette to right field in the 3rd inning. Now the strike 2 pitch. Cut on and hit just foul outside of 3rd and down the line. No, Hemus came close, and he'll have to swing again. Hemus, Fernandez, and Lynette here in the 5th inning. Dodger run, the only run of the game thus far, came in the 1st inning on a couple of base hits. An error by Anderson set it up where Hodges' scoring fly ball got it over. Strike 2 pitch is cut on, a high fly ball into right center slightly. Cimoli's right there waiting and takes it. 1 up, 1 away. Chico Fernandez flied to left field in the 2nd inning, hitting .261. And while so many of the other ball players have just about wrapped up the equipment for this year, Chico, Sandy Amoros, Rene Valdez, and a few others, they're heading down to Cuba. And Fernandez sometimes moans about it a little. The curveball is cut on and foul by, 0-1. Chico, who was not a big fella anyway, and after playing all year for Philadelphia, his weight about 156 pounds, I guess. And now he'll have to start that season down there in Cuba. The strike 1 pitch. Fernandez swings and lines it into left center. That'll be a base hit. Cimoli on to play it on a bounce and get it back in. So with 1 out in the 5th inning, Fernandez singles. The 2nd hit off Roger Craig. And let's identify ourselves. Pause for station identification. This is the Brooklyn Dodgers Radio Network.
Dial 1460 WOKO Albany, the Capital District's most talked about station, with downtown studios in the Hotel Wellington. It's 21 minutes before 3 o'clock.
Chico Fernandez at first base, 1 out, and Joe Lynette the batter, and takes a pitch down low, ball 1. 1-0 Brooklyn, last of the 5th inning. Craig straddling the rubber while he looks in to get his sign. Pignatano wigwags it out to him. Checker first, and a lob throw over there. Hodges returns it to the mound. 1-0. Now the pitch to Lynette, taken for the strike. 1-1. Craig staring in, now he's ready. Fernandez inching off the bag at first, and the pitch to Lynette. In and over for the second strike. 1-2. Ready, looks over at Fernandez. Now the 1-2 pitch. Lynette swings and misses. Strike 3. Well, Craig now has 4 strikeouts. 2 down in the 5th inning, and the batter Seth Moorhead. The Dodger pitching staff will miss a record. Most strikeouts by a pitching staff in the major leagues. And they won't miss it by too much. They needed 12 strikeouts today to tie the record. The pitch to Seth Moorhead is cut on and fouled back, 0-1. And actually, the fellows who have really chalked up the strikeouts were not considered to work today. Sandy Koufax, who has a great strikeout mark. Don Drysdale bothers a lot of right-hand batters. Strike 1 pitch taken high and away, 1-1. And Craig has 4 in 4 2/3 innings. 1-0 Brooklyn, bottom of the 5th. Moorhead bounced out in the 3rd. Craig delivers 1-1, and Moorhead takes outside, ball 2, 2-1. Seth Moorhead. Remember the play that was on Broadway, Plain and Fancy, about the Amish people here in Pennsylvania? Sounds like a name that, let's say the town elder would have. Going to go down and see Seth Moorhead and get some advice. 2-1 pitch, and the pitcher cuts on it and pops it up. Zimmer going out on the grass, falling all the way now, and takes it for the out. In the 5th inning for Philadelphia, no runs, 1 hit, a man left on. And the score at the end of 5 innings of play. Brooklyn 1, Philadelphia nothing.
Blow the whistle. Ring the bell. Now's the time to run like...
Oh, get out.
Did you say get out?
Yes, I said get out and get Rose's deal on Oldsmobile, because Rose is offering some good deals on their current stock of 1957 cars before the new models come out in November.
Learn why over 67% of Rose Oldsmobile sales are to repeat customers. There's a reason.
Rose Oldsmobile maintains in their modern service shop all the latest equipment and instruments for offering continuing warranty service on every Olds they sell.
Yes, and you'll like the way they treat you at Rose Oldsmobile. Remember, Rose is offering some very fine deals on 1957 Oldsmobiles right now before the new models come out in November. So hurry on down, get Rose's deal on Oldsmobile.
That's Rose Oldsmobile, the Capital District's oldest franchise Oldsmobile dealer, over 30 years at Central and Manning.
Get Rose's deal on Oldsmobile. Get Rose's deal on Oldsmobile. Get Rose's deal.
Rose Oldsmobile, Central and Manning in Albany. Top of the 6th inning, Carl Furillo coming off for the Dodgers, and for Lucky Strike and more play-by-play, here's Vin.
Furillo is 1 for 2. He singled to left and flied to center, batting .308. Moorhead looks in to get his sign. Carl waiting. Now the left-hander ready and delivers, and Furillo fouls it back out of play, 0-1. I don't know if you feel the same way about it, but on this final day of 1957, we're in the 6th inning. The ball game has taken an hour and 15 minutes up to here, and you get the feeling, since it is the last one, wish the boys would slow down a little bit. Curve is low and inside, 1-1. Won't be seeing baseball now during the cold winter months. Take it easy down there, fellas. Let's not just slam the lid on it. Moorhead ready, and the 1-1 pitch. Furlow swings and foul tips it, 1-2. You know, the end of the summer and the beginning of the fall, and realizing that all these fellas whom you've been with since, well, some of us have been with them since February, and now they'll be scattering all over the country. Kind of a sad day. Moorhead delivers 1-2, and Furlow swings and fouls it away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Some of the wonderful stories you find out occurred during the course of a ball game, and then you find out either after the game or the next day. And we found out one that might give you a kick about yesterday's game. And these games, of course, right at the final part of the year, no particular importance in the league standing. 1-2 pitch, Furlow swings and misses. Strike 3, 1 out. But the story about yesterday's ball game concerned Eddie Roebuck, who pitched 4 innings in relief and walked a run over with the bases loaded in the 9th inning. Padres had to come and get him and strike out Anderson to end the game. And we were talking to Roebuck, and Eddie brought it up. And he said, you know what I was thinking about out there in the mound, pitching the last couple of innings in relief yesterday? Realizing the ball game is not really of great importance. Gil Hodges up there and takes a strike. Roebuck said that when he came out to the mound, he kept saying to himself, now, make believe this is the final game of the World Series. He said the score is tied, and keep that in your mind. And all the time while he was pitching in relief yesterday, he was making believe he was in the World Series. Pitched to Hodges up high, 1-1. And finally, he got into the 9th inning, and with 2 out, he had the bases loaded. And Eddie said right then he backed off the rubber, and he said to himself, all right, now let's say you're at Yankee Stadium. There are 80,000 people there. The reporters from all over the country, the television and radio networks are watching your every move. And Roebuck said he went to a 3-2 count on Don Landrum with the bases loaded and 2 out yesterday, and walked in the run. And then he said, you know what I found out about myself? Here's the 1-1 pitch to Hodges in the dirt, ball 2. And he said, here I was, I'd done such a tremendous job of convincing myself I was pitching in the final game in the last inning of the World Series. And he said, I walked Landrum on a 3-2 pitch to force in the run. He said, I found I was scared stiff. I'd talked myself right out of this game. He said he had to come out, and Padres took over. The 2-1 pitch. Hodges swings, takes a half swing, and it's slowly to short. Fernandez hurries his play and gets his man. 2 down. So you wonder, on the final day of the year, when the game, team-wise, isn't too important, the Phillies would like to end up at the 500 mark. A couple of individuals have certain records that they're trying to shoot at. You just wonder if some of the other fellas down there in the field right now aren't using their imaginations and making believe it's a real big one. Bob Kennedy swings at a pitch and doesn't get it, 0-1. And you know, Kennedy might very well be saying it's a big one. Bob has let it be known that he plans to call it a baseball career after today. So this will be Kennedy's final game. The hot one down to third. It runs up Jones's arm. Willie picks it up and fires to first just in time for the out. The Dodgers out in order in the 6th inning. At the end of 5.5 innings of play in a fine ball game, Brooklyn 1 run on 4 hits and no errors. Philadelphia no runs on 2 hits and 1 error. Now here's Jerry.
Well, you know, it's not very often that philosophy and baseball go together, but Mr. Gil Hodges has managed to combine the two. Okay, Gil.
Those bench jockeys, they can sit there all day long making one wisecrack after another and really have themselves a ball. Me, I'll just leave it to the other guys and take my fun after the game. That means grabbing a char and sitting around with a Lucky. They're all cigarette, all tobacco, all the way through. I'd say Luckies are the best tasting cigarette I ever smoked.
Yes, sir, Gil. Smokers everywhere find that Lucky's taste better, and for good reason. Fine tobacco alone tastes right, and Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Fine, light, naturally good-tasting tobacco that's toasted to taste even better. So do as Gil says and light up a light smoke. Light up a Lucky. You say it's the best-tasting cigarette you ever smoked. Well, a real good one going here. Last half of the 6th inning. Ashburn, Landrum, and Boucher coming on. So let's go right back to Vin for more action.
Well, Richie Ashburn is 0 for 2, bounced out and flied out, batting .296. Bottom of the 6th, 1-0 Brooklyn. The Dodgers are not completely on strange soil in the final day of the year. We have about 15 or 20 folks who have come down from Brooklyn to see this game. In fact, one gal is going to go home with a little souvenir. Craig ready and delivers, and Ashburn takes a strike, 0-1. Some of the gals, teenagers, and they wanted to get the various autographs of all the players. One gal really did it. Here's the strike one pitch to Ashburn. Cut on and hit down the left field line, just fair, bouncing into the corner. And by the time Bob Kennedy plays the carom, Ashburn has a stand-up double. Well, the Dodgers leading 1-0 in the 6th inning, and Ashburn opens up with a double. That is hit number 3 off Roger Craig. You know the old expression, if somebody shakes hands with a well-known person and you, I won't wash my hand for a week. Well, this gal got the autograph, apparently, of her favorite Dodger on the back of her left hand in ink. Yet. Don Landrum, the batter, and takes a fastball up high, ball 1. Landrum batting .167. She's been wearing gloves ever since, too, so that not too many people notice it. The 1-0 pitch. Landrum swings and doesn't get it. 1-1. The Dodgers a run on 4 hits. Philadelphia no runs on 3 hits. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. Roger Craig and Seth Moorhead battling it out, and the Phillies trying to get even here in the 6th. Craig looks to Ashburn, now delivers, and the slow curve is down low. Ball 2. 2-1. Jackson ups inside the bag at third. Ashburn a short lead right now, ready to come down some more. Craig delivers. There goes Ashburn, and the pitch is hit slowly up to first. Hodges one-hands it and feeds to Craig, who immediately steps on the bag and whirls ready to fire, but Ashburn holds on at third. So Landrum bounces out. Ashburn going on the pitch goes to third. Ed Boucher coming up. Boucher has walked twice, though he has not been up officially. Ed hitting .291, left-hand batter, and the Dodger infield plays up. The outfield deep and around the right, a big gap in left center. Craig looks over at Ashburn, and now with 1 out, winds and delivers, and the slow curve is high, ball 1. Tony Venzen, the plate umpire, Bill Jakowski at first, Chad Crawford at second, and Bill Baker on the line at third. Craig goes to the rosin bag, gives it a pinch. Both bullpens quiet. Roger 2's windup, and the 1-0 pitch. Boucher swings and belts one high and deep to right field. That baby is out of here. Boucher hits his 17th home run with a man aboard. He has 76 runs batted in. The Phillies take the lead 2-1, and the batter, Harry Anderson, who is 0 for 2. Craig delivers, and the pitch is cut on a high foul down the left field line. Zimmer, Jackson, and Kennedy coming over, but it falls in amongst them, out of play. 0-1. This year, Ed Boucher and Harry Anderson have both tied a Philadelphia club mark. Most home runs hit by a freshman. Del Ennis, in his first year with Philadelphia, hit 17. Now Boucher and Anderson is up at the plate. Have each hit, have 17. In the Dodger bullpen, Sandy Koufax goes to work. Phillies 2, Brooklyn 1, bottom of the 6th. Anderson swings and hooks it foul down the line, back into the seats. Harry chipped his bat, so he'll have to get a new one. That stung. He's looking at that left hand as if he had burned a hole in it. 0-2 the count. So Ashburn double, Landrum advanced him to third, and Boucher hit one out. And the Phillies, who had been shut out for 5 innings, now lead 2-1. On the home run, we gladly send along 1,000 free luckies to the Veterans Hospital at Kingsbridge Road in the Bronx. Craig delivers 0-2, and Anderson takes high, ball 1. Roger to his windup, and the 1-2 pitch to Harry Anderson is cut on and popped up. Jim Gilliam calls, but Hodges looks at him. Gilliam keeps coming on and calling, and Jim will make the play. So Anderson pops up to Gilliam, 2 down in the 6th inning, and the batter Willie Jones, who is struck out and bounced into a double play. Willie batting .218. Willie takes the first pitch, and it misses, ball 1. 1-0. Jones bounces one down to third. Jackson up with the ball, straightens up now and flips to first for the out. Play going 5-3. So in the 6th inning, the Phillies come up with a double and a home run by Ed Boucher. 2 runs on 2 hits. Nobody left on, no Dodger errors. And at the end of 6 innings of play, Philadelphia 2 runs, 4 hits and 1 error. The Dodgers 1 run, 4 hits and no errors. Before we get to the 7th inning, there are other ball games perking along, so let's take a look at our Lucky Strike scoreboard. Here's Jerry.
Okay, Benny, in the ball game at New York, the Pittsburgh Pirates lead the Giants by a score of 4-1 at the end of 2.5 innings of play. For Pittsburgh, Bob Friend, 13 and 18. For the Giants, Antonelli started, relieved by Barclay in the 3rd. Frank Thomas a home run in the 2nd inning with none on, his 23rd of the year. Cincinnati will play at Milwaukee. It'll be Hook 0-1 for the Redlegs, and Buell 18-7 going for Milwaukee. Chicago at St. Louis, the ball game underway. It's Strabowski 12-15 against Barnes 0-0, and no score at the end of 1 inning of play. In the American League, the Red Sox lead the Yankees 1-0 at the end of 4 at Boston. Ditmar replaced by Cooks in the 5th inning. Baumann going for the Red Sox. Chicago leads Cleveland 1-0 at the end of 1 inning of play. Latman for Chicago, Daly for Cleveland. No score, Baltimore, Washington in the 3 1/2. Detroit leads Kansas City 2-0 at the end of 1. Okay, let's go right back to action. Here's Vin.
Randy Jackson up there and starts off with a strike against him as Seth Moorhead gets his curve over. Jackson has walked and flied to center 0-1. Randy batting .200. 2-1 Philadelphia, 7th inning. A fastball is cut on and missed, 0-2. So the Dodgers and the Phillies close out the year as they opened it up here at Connie Mack Stadium in Philadelphia. The 0-2 pitch to Jackson, fastball cut on, is a high pop fly. Salahimis backing out, turns now as Ashburn has a better shot at it, and Ritchie comes on to grab it. 1 out. Way back on the 16th of April, the Dodgers and the Phillies opened up this 1957 season here at Connie Mack Stadium at night. Don Newcomb started against Robin Roberts. The Dodgers won it 7-6. Boy, a lot of things have happened since that night, huh? Zimmer swings at a pitch and fouls it away, 0-1, right into the mask of Joe Lynette. Zimmer struck out and fouled out, 0 for 2, batting .220. Zimmer started off the year in fine style. His first at-bat in 1957 here at Connie Mack Stadium was a home run. Swings, and it's a high foul off first base. That'll go out of play on top of the roof. 0-2. In fact, Zimmer was going very well at the outset, and then he got hurt, and then he really slowed down, could never regain that early season form. The strike 2 pitch. Zimmer reaches for it and taps it back to the mound. Be an easy play for Moorhead and a flip over to Ed Boucher. 2 out. Dodgers won their first 3 games of the year. Beat Philadelphia, then knocked off the Pirates twice. It looked like it was going to be quite a beginning. But then there are a lot of mountains to climb, and the ball club couldn't quite do it all year long. Joe Pignatano checks his swing and fouls it in the upper deck. And then it comes cascading down below. 0-1. Pignatano hitting .231, hit into a fourth play and flied to center. Seth Moorhead winds and delivers. Curveball missing high and away. 1-1. Lucky Strike sending it all to you as they have been doing all year long. And today, our last stop, Connie Mack Stadium in Philadelphia. Moorhead delivers 1-1. The fastball is cut on and fouled back in the upper deck, and again comes dribbling down onto the field. So folks in the stands have had 2 chances, and they're still empty-handed. 1-2. Moorhead delivers, and his curveball is hit slowly wide at third. Jones cuts in front of Fernandez and throws in the dirt, and Boucher digs it out. So Pignatano bounces out, third to first. The Dodgers in the 7th inning out in order 1-2-3. And at the end of 6.5 innings of play, Philadelphia 2 and Brooklyn 1. Now here's Jerry.
Well, lucky 7. Time for all the hometown fans to stand up and be counted. And that's what they're doing right here at Philadelphia. Guess we'll do likewise. Kind of stretch way out. Feels good, you know, to get that 7th inning stretch. Now the luckies. Fresh pack. Nothing like it. Lucky 7 and a lucky strike. A light smoke. Yes, sir, this one is all cigarettes. All fine tobacco. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco, and fine tobacco alone tastes right. Boy, that's great. That's why they say Lucky's taste better. Yep. Friends, light up a light smoke. Light up a Lucky. You'll say it's the best tasting cigarette you ever smoked. Well, the Philly fans here standing up for their last look at the 1957 ball clubs. The Dodgers and the Phillies putting on a good show today. 2-1 score. Philadelphia leads. Last half of the 7th inning. Hemus, Fernandez, and Larnett due up to face Roger Craig. So for more action, here's Vin.
Solly Hemus has popped out and flied to center. He's 0 for 2, hitting .187. Sandy Koufax throwing back of Craig in the Dodger bullpen. Hemus takes a slow curve in for a strike, 0-1. As soon as we have a disposition of Solly, we'll duck in a station break. 2-1 Philadelphia, last of the 7th inning. The strike 1 pitch, a little high and inside, 1-1. Craig do his windup. Now the 1-1 pitch. Slow curve, trying to change it in there and missed. Ball 2, 2-1. Roger Craig is due to be first batter up for Brooklyn in the 8th inning. The 2-1 pitch on its way, and it's over. Strike 2. Hemus, Fernandez, and Larnett. Did anybody get on? Maybe we'll see Seth Moorhead. The 2-2 pitch to Hemus, cut on, is a high drive to right field, but it's playable. Frillo backs up on the gravel now, about 10 feet in front of the fence, and makes the play. 1 up, 1 away, and let's pause right now for station identification. This is the Brooklyn Dodgers Radio Network.
Dial 1460 WOKO Albany, the Capital District's most talked about station, with downtown studios in the Hotel Wellington. 2 minutes after 3 o'clock.
Fernandez, 1 for 2, the batter, and looks at a slow curve over for the strike. Chico batting .263, slide to left and single to center. Craig back with a pitch and misses high, 1-1. So this might very well be the last inning of work for Roger Craig this year. The 1-1 pitch cut on is a high fly ball into shallow right center. Perillo and Simoli coming over. Perillo calling, makes the play. 2 out. One thing about 1957, sometimes you can try to be nice and cause a little trouble, and seeing Joe Pignatano working back of the plate brings to mind early this year when Pignatano made his debut in a major league ball game. He's a Brooklyn boy. First time he got into a ball game against the Chicago Cubs in a night game at Ebbets Field. Joe Launette fouls a pitch away, 0-1. And so that night when Pignatano got in a ball game, and we figured it would be a nice thrill for Mrs. Pignatano to see a husband play. Remember, we were on television at the time. Launette hits another one down the line. That's going foul, 0-2. So just trying to be nice, you know, and you say, listen, friends, if you know Mrs. Pignatano's number, why not give her a call? She might not know that Joe's playing. We're late in the game. She got 18 phone calls in a row, just one right after the other. And she spent all the time on the phone saying, yes, I know Joe's playing. Thank you very much. Yes, I know he's playing. Yeah, thank you. It's very thoughtful. And meanwhile, she never saw him play. So that's the last time we're going to do something like that. 1-2 pitch on that is cut on as a high drive down the left field line, starting to hook a bit and go foul. Not by too much. Bob Kennedy went over into the Philadelphia bullpen, but had no play. I guess that would be 1957 sometimes. A lot of things the ball club tried to do just didn't turn out exactly right. The 1-2 pitch, Launette shies away. It's inside, 2-2. 2 out, 7th inning. Phillies 2, Brooklyn 1. Craig to his windup and delivers to Launette. Joe swings another high foul down the left field line. Kennedy coming over into the bullpen and can't make it. It's back into the stands. Count holds 2-2. Craig and the Dodgers led 1-0 into the 6th inning. But with 1 out and Ashburn at third, Ed Boucher hit a home run. And that's it up to here. 2-1 Philadelphia. Roger to his windup, and the 2-2 pitch. Launette takes low, ball 3. Craig delivers 3-2. Launette takes in the dirt, ball 4. So with 2 out, Joe Launette draws a walk, and that'll bring up pitcher Seth Moorhead. Seth has bounced out and popped up. He is 0 for 2, 0 for 4 this year. And getting a well-deserved round of applause. He allowed the Dodgers 1 run in the first inning, and since then, since the first inning, he's allowed just 2 hits. Craig takes a look. Launette goes. The pitch is cut on and grounded down to Gilliam, who's up with it easily and makes his play. So Moorhead retired 4-3. For Philadelphia in the 7th inning, no runs, no hits. They leave 1 man. At the end of 7 innings of play, Philadelphia 2 and Brooklyn 1. Once again, a few words from Jerry.
Just a reminder once more, friends, your last chance to get your Dodger yearbook for 1957. A yearbook that is full of pictures of all the players, the records of all the players, and some interesting information about the Dodgers, and a fine baseball souvenir of the 1957 season. Send 50 cents, your name and address, to Dodger Yearbook, Box 119, Brooklyn 1, New York. That's Dodger Yearbook, Box 119, Brooklyn 1, New York. Send along 50 cents, your name and address, and you'll get your copy of the Dodger Yearbook for 1957. You know you'll want to have one for the winter and a souvenir of the 1957 team. So send off right away and get your Dodger Yearbook, Box 119, Brooklyn 1, New York. Well, we move along to the 8th inning now. Roger Craig due up. Roy Campanella will come on to bat for him, followed by Gilliam and then by Simoli. So let's go right back to Vin for more action.
Well, the attendance today paid 9,886. Philadelphia's had a good year box office-wise. They drew 1,146,000, which is an increase of 211,000 folks over last year. Of course, when you start talking about attendance, everybody naturally has to point to Milwaukee. The Braves established a new National League attendance mark. Last we looked, I think it was 2,170,000 or thereabouts. And the final game they play up there. Campanelli hits a high fly ball into left center. Landrum calling all the way and makes his play. So Campy, who originates from these parts, and considering his personality, he comes from an aptly named section of Philadelphia, Nice Town. So the nice man from Nice Town flies out. One out in the 8th inning, 2-1 in favor of the Phillies. And the batter, Jim Gilliam, popped up, fouled out, and singled, hitting .250. Junior checks his swing, and the breaking ball is low and inside. Ball 1. Jackie Collum has stopped throwing, and Koufax is up again. There's a hot one up the middle, deflected by Moorhead. A bare hand grab by Fernandez, and he makes the play. A beauty. Well, now, I tell you what, on a pool shot like that, 3-cushion play. Whacking one, deflected by pitcher Moorhead, hit towards the hole, and a bare hand grab by Fernandez to get Gilliam. 1-6-3. We'll pin 5,000 free luckies on that one. Sending with our best wishes to the Veterans Hospital at Kingsbridge Road in the Bronx. 2 down in the 8th inning. Gino Cimoli is 1 for 3, hitting .294. Moorhead ready, bends a curve, and it's hit on a bounce and dug out by Willie Jones, who makes his play to Boucher. So a couple of fine defensive plays by Fernandez and Willie Jones. Cimoli out third to first. The end of 7.5 innings of play. Philadelphia 2 runs, 4 hits, and 1 error. And the Dodgers 1 run, 4 hits, and no errors. Now let's listen to Jerry.
Okay, Vinny, in about 2 shakes, Happy Joe Lucky will send some mighty intriguing clubhouse chatter your way. Meantime, light up a light smoke. Light up a Lucky. Why a Lucky? Because fine tobacco alone tastes right. And Lucky Strike means fine tobacco all the way through from end to end. A Lucky's all fine tobacco, fine, light, good-tasting tobacco that's toasted to taste even better. Yes, a Lucky's a light smoke, and the best-tasting cigarette you ever smoked. Well, a little of that clubhouse chatter now as we're at the final innings of the final game of the season. We're telling you from time to time about some of the occupations of the Dodger athletes during the wintertime. Duke Snyder's going to head for California and work on his avocado ranch. Rube Walker's going to play golf and sell cars. Randy Jackson busy in Athens, Georgia, selling insurance. Clem LeBion, a garment designer, will take up that occupation as soon as he has a couple of weeks vacation playing golf. Carl Erskine's going out to northern Wisconsin to go hunting and fishing. Johnny Podres plans a fishing trip to Canada. Gino Cimoli goes to Los Angeles for an appearance on the Red Skelton Show. Don Newcomb out to play golf in New Jersey, and Charlie Neal down to Texas to go hunting for a while. Some of the boys are going to play winter ball. Sandy Amaros in Cuba, Pignatano in the Dominican, Roseboro and Caracas, Venezuela, Danny McDevitt in Cuba. Harris will play in Venezuela, as will Valdez play in Cuba. Joe Becker, the pitching coach, he's going to be busy all winter long training mules. That's our clubhouse chatter, and thanks to Happy Joe Lucky. Now let's go back to play, and here's Vin.
Richie Ashburn, Don Landrum, and Ed Boucher in the bottom of the 8th, 2-1 Philadelphia, and Sandy Koufax taking over after Roger Craig pitched 7 innings. Gave up 2 runs and 4 hits. Koufax delivers, and the fastball Ashburn is in for a strike. Thinking about Joe Becker training mules, you know that old mule skinner story about a fellow who brought his mule to a trainer to have him trained. I guess Becker would know it. The strike 1 pitch to Ashburn is a curve in there, 0-2. Fellow brought his mule to the trainer, and the trainer said, fine, I'll train him. And the first thing he did is pick up a 2x4 and hit the mule right between the eyes. And the owner said, what's the matter with you? You lose your mind or something? What are you hitting the mule for? And the fellow said, I didn't hit him. I'm just trying to get his attention. I imagine it could be tough. The 0-2 pitch to Ashburn is a fastball fouled away. Loosening up in the Philadelphia bullpen, the familiar number 36, Robin Roberts. To Ashburn, hitting .299. It's a big at-bat for Ritchie, and it's a comebacker to the mound. Koufax handles it, flips to first, and that does it for Ashburn. Now, let's see when was the last time Ashburn failed to hit 300. It's been a few years. 1 out in the 8th inning, 2-1 Philadelphia. And the batter, Don Landrum. He is 0 for 3, batting 143. Time running out on 1957. Landrum moves away from an inside fastball, ball 1. So Ashburn ends the year under 300 for the first time since 1952. And that's a note. Koufax winds, and the 1-0 pitch is fastball high, ball 2, 2-0. When the Dodgers come to bat for perhaps the last windup of 1957, Perillo, Hodges, and Kennedy. Should anybody get on, maybe Jackson. The 2-0 pitch in there for the strike, 2-1. So Koufax will be going into the service, has a chance to fire a fastball for the last time for a while. The 2-1 pitch is the fastball, and he missed. Ball 3, 3-1. On deck, the villain of the piece as far as Brooklyn is concerned, and the hero thus far for Philadelphia, Boucher. His home run in the 6th inning with a man aboard is the difference. Phillies 2, Brooklyn 1, 8th inning. The 3-1 pitch, and the slow pitch is up high, ball 4. So Landrum draws a walk. 1 out in the 8th inning, and here's Ed Boucher. Ed's had quite a year. 17 home runs, 76 runs batted in, hitting .293. Koufax looks over at first, now delivers, and the fastball is low and inside, ball 1. Phillies were helped considerably by their young ball players this year. Ed Boucher, Harry Anderson, Bob Bowman, and the pitchers, Jack Sanford, Cardwell, Farrell, help them along. The 1-0 pitch, down low, ball 2, 2-0. The Phillies had 2 breaks against them, with the plus sides of the young fellas coming through. Lopata being injured and almost useless for most of the year, and Jones' inability to hit. 2-0 pitch to Boucher is inside, ball 3. Granny Hamner, who started off and was one of the prime reasons for keeping the Phillies in the pennant race. Hamner's average tailed off, and then to close out a bitter year for him after such a promising start, he got hurt the other night and had to leave. Curveball to Boucher is low, ball 4, and so the Phillies, with 1 out in the 8th inning, have runners at first and second on walks to Landrum and Boucher. Harry Anderson has struck out, fouled out, and popped up. Harry hitting .267. Koufax in a jam now. Runners at first and second. 1 out. Phillies 2, Brooklyn 1. Bottom of the 8th. Anderson waiting. Koufax bends a curve and misses outside. Ball 1. In the Dodger bullpen, Don Besant joins Jackie Collum. On this final day of the year, we'll run down the pitching records of all the boys. And then when the Dodgers hit in the 9th, we'll tell you their batting averages. More or less close up shop. The 1-0 pitch, Anderson swings and misses, 1-1. Billy Harris, 0-1. Don Besant, 1-3. Roger Craig, 6-8 prior to today. Don Drysdale, the club's big winner, 17-9. Carl Erskine, 5-3. Sandy Koufax, 5-4. Clem Labine, 5-7. Danny McDevitt, 7-4. The 1-1 pitch in there for the second strike. Don Newcomb, 11-12. Johnny Padres, 12-9. Ed Roebuck, 8-2. Rene Valdez, 1-1. So that's how the pitching went. They had a footnote to the Dodger pitching prowess this year. It was quite a staff. Anderson waiting. Koufax delivers 1-2. Harry swings and fouls it back. The National League earned run average leaders. Johnny Padres, as we check Alan Ross figures, they are not official yet. They do not get league sanction, but you can just about bet on them. Padres will win the title, followed by Don Drysdale. The third man in the league, he'll tie Drysdale, will be Warren Spahn. The Padres, unofficially, has won the ERA title, the only Dodger pitcher since Dazzy Vance. The 1-2 pitch is way up high. Pignatano leaps in the air to grab it, 2-2. The Dodger pitching staff turned in 18 shutouts this year. Padres had 6, Drysdale 4, Newcomb 4, McDevitt 2, Magley 1, and Magley and Labine combined for a shutout. The 2-2 pitch is low, ball 3. So Sandy Koufax has gone to a full count to Harry Anderson. Don Landrum at second, Ed Boucher at first. One out in the 8th inning, 2-1 in favor of the Phillies. Koufax set, checks his men. The 3-2 pitch, fastball, golfed at, and a big high bouncer. Gilliam has to short hop it. His play to Hodges in time, and everybody else moves up 90 feet. That was a very tough play for Gilliam for 2 counts. One, as Boucher went by, almost shielded the ball from Gilliam's vision. And the other, since it was a big high bouncer and a left-hand batter going down the line, Gilliam had to short hop it. He made the play. Okay, 2 out, runners at second and third, and Willie Jones the batter. Willie is struck out, hit into a double play, and bounced out, batting .217. Koufax to his windup and delivers, and Jones takes a curveball in for a strike. If you're wondering about the Dodger bullpen this year, we can tell you about the men who saved games. In other words, coming on when the Dodgers led, not getting credited with a victory, but at the same time holding the opponent quiet, and the Dodgers could hold on to their lead. That's a big department when you talk about relief pitchers. The strike 1 pitch to Jones, a fastball foul back, 0-2. Clem Labine saved 17 in relief. Eddie Roebuck, who won 8, also saved 8. Johnny Padres saved 3 as a starting pitcher. He won 12. And Sal Magley saved 1 in relief. So that's just about the story on pitching this year. And the pitching on the Brooklyn Ball Club is certainly the big beacon light of the future. It's quite a staff. Koufax getting a sign. 0-2, the count to Willie Jones. Sandy looks over at third at Landrum, now goes to his windup. The strike 2 pitch. Fastball got him swinging. So Koufax strikes out Willie Jones, and for Philadelphia in the 8th inning. And it's an odd thing. Koufax faced 5 men in the inning. He walked 2. 2 other men made out. And the first 4 men who hit the ball fairly well, and 2 of them got on base, were all left-handers. And the one right-hander, if you're playing percentage-wise, who should be able to give Koufax trouble, he strikes him out. The end of 8, Philadelphia 2 and Brooklyn 1. And before we get to the 9th inning, what might be the final half inning of 1957, let's have a few words from Jerry.
Well, fans, better taste in a Lucky doesn't just happen. No, sir, it's planned that way. You see, fine tobacco alone tastes right, and Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. All fine tobacco. Naturally light tobacco to give you a light smoke. Naturally good tasting tobacco that's toasted to taste even better. See? It doesn't just happen. It's all part of a plan well calculated to bring you the best tasting cigarette you ever smoked. And right now, it's just about 3:26 here in Philadelphia. Make it light up time. Light up a light smoke. Light up a Lucky. Good idea? Great idea. And we'll pause now for station identification. This is the Brooklyn Dodgers Radio Network.
Dial 1460 WOKO Albany, the Capital District's most talked about station, with downtown studios in the Hotel Wellington.
Now back to play, and here's Vin.
Paul Furlow swings on the first pitch, and it's a high foul back of the plate. Joe Lynette comes over and grabs it, 1 out. Paul Furlow wound up the 1957 season. We say that unless the Dodgers should tie it and perhaps should go into extra innings. We told you about the pitchers. We'll try and get the hitters in here. So Furlow ended up hitting .306. Gil Hodges coming up, and the entire ball club rooting for Gil as of this moment. He had a scoring fly ball in the first inning, doubled and bounced out. Hodges is batting .299. He has to have a base hit now to hit .300 for the year. Swings and fouls it back, 0-1. Another note about this ball game, the Dodgers have not lost to a left-hander this year. 6-0. And Seth Moorhead has him down 2-1 with 1 out in the ninth. So Hodges batting .299. Moorhead delivers, and the pitch is in there, so Gil's in a hole. The count, no balls and 2 strikes. So this could very well be the last time this year that we'll be doing any play-by-play for you. It's been a good year. Maybe not a great one for the ball club, but there's been a lot of thrills and excitement and a few laughs and just about everything you'd want out of a year. Curve in the dirt, 1-2. Sure like to thank all you folks for your patience when we boot them, and for your kind letters as well. 1 out in the ninth inning, 2-1 Philadelphia. The end of 57. Hodges swings a fly ball to left field, and friends, he's not going to get it. Anderson is right there to take it. So Hodges does not get the base hit. And Gil ends the season batting .299. That's too bad. All right, 2 out. And perhaps the last man to come up for Brooklyn this year, Bob Kennedy. And this for Bob will be his last at-bat in the major league. At least so he has announced. He plans to retire at the end of this year. Curveball to Kennedy, in for a strike, 0-1. Another note on Kennedy. Back in 1939, when he broke into the major leagues, he played his first major league game right here at Connie Mack Stadium. So that his baseball career has just about made the complete circle, wouldn't you say? Kennedy swings and fouls it back, 0-2. He starts and ends it at Philadelphia. Started in 39 and closing it out in 57. The Dodgers, with 1 strike left to them, trail 2-1 in the ninth inning in the closing game. The strike 2 pitch is cut on and foul back, 0-2. On deck, Randy Jackson. Tell you about the Dodger batters. Let's see. Gilliam hit .250, Simoli .293, Perillo .306, Hodges .299, Kennedy .133, Jackson .198, Zimmer .219, Pignatano .214. Curveball is cut on, a fly ball to center. Don Landrum is waiting. Under it. He's got it. And 1957 goes down the drain. And with it, the final game of the year, the Phillies winning it 2-1. As Bob Kennedy flies out to center field, and that does it. Well, that'll do it from this end as far as the play-by-play is concerned. Philadelphia 2 and Brooklyn 1. And 1957 is in the books. Again, many, many thanks to all of you. It's a great association. We always hate to see the end of the year. And this one closes out September 29th, 1957. And now for the last time this year, we will say that's the ball game, friends. The final score, Philadelphia 2 and Brooklyn 1. And we'll be back with the final recap of the game in just a moment.
Light up a light smoke, a lucky strike. The right smoke, the light smoke, a lucky strike. For the taste that you like, light up a lucky strike. Light up a light smoke, a lucky strike.
Connie Mack Stadium, the scene of so many exciting games this year, the Dodgers and the Phillies pulled down the curtain. The Phillies won it 2-1. Just as a footnote to the end of it, again passing along our own personal thanks, and also those, I'm sure, of the absent Al Helper. Jerry Doggett's right here, so he can say his own. I'll tell you what, Jerry, on the final day, first things first, supposing you give the totals and the winning and losing pitchers before we kind of take a low bow from the waist and doff our caps for the final time.
All right, Benny, the totals for the Phillies, 2 runs, 4 hits, 1 error, 6 men left on. For the Dodgers, 1 run, 4 hits, no errors, and 4 left on. The winning pitcher, Seth Moorhead, his first Major League start, his first Major League win. He has lost 1 time. Craig was the loser. His record now 6-9 on the year. And for the Brooklyn Dodgers for the season of 1957, a final standing in 3rd place in the National League with 84 wins and 70 on the loss side. So that's it, Ben. A home run by Boucher in the 6th inning with 1 on turned the tide after the Dodgers had gotten an unearned run in the 1st inning, and the final score 2-1. The Phils got in front.
Well, Jerry, let's see. You did your first Brooklyn ball game on Labor Day last year, right?
That's right, Ben.
So it'll be a year
first full year.
And Alan Roth, what about you? How long you been digging out figures for Brooklyn?
Well, I started with the Brooklyn Club in 1947, but I've been on the radio.
Are you that old?
I guess I am, and I feel it right now.
Pappy, how long have you been piping the game back? 4 solid years for Pappy Durkin. And he also did a little bit way back in 39. My Tommy Vellante, our producer, since 1952, huh? And it's the end of our 8th year with the ball club. Boy, those years have certainly gone fast. 8 years.
Shifty, Willie, and Herbie have been with us for about 20 years, haven't they?
They've just got out, I believe. I don't know where they've been for 20 years. Well, friends, that's just about it. We don't want to go into a big, long thing here, just to let you know that we sure enjoyed working for you all year long. We hope we brought you some enjoyment. I imagine sometime or other we've gotten you a little mad at the other end, too. But that's the way it goes. We were trying. And now you'd like to remind everybody that this final game, Jerry, was brought to them like every game through 1957 by home.
The F&M Schaefer Brewing Company of Brooklyn, Penny, brewers of Schaefer beer, and all the fine folks at Schaefer who have had a part in bringing the baseball game to the folks this year. And remember, it's America's oldest lager beer. It's real beer. And by Lucky Strike, a light smoke, the best tasting cigarette you ever smoked. It's made by the American Tobacco Company, and tobacco is our middle name. And, of course, a lot of fine folks in the American Tobacco Company. It's been a real pleasure, Vinny, to be with you and Al and all the Dodgers, all during the 1957 season. Our swell sponsors, Schaefer Beer and Lucky Strike, and all the guys here in the booth, Tommy Vellante, Alan Ross, Pappy Durkin, and well, it's been fine associating with these very, very wonderful Brooklyn Dodger fans all the way, don't you think?
That's right, indeed. We want to certainly say hello to our Dodger Network, which was really spreading its wings this year for the first time, as well as to all our friends in New York. And all of us here in the booth hope we'll be talking to you in 1958. 57, as far as the baseball season is concerned, and our own personal little duties with the ball club, just about down the drain. So, for the last time, we'll be saying goodbye.
And good luck.
And we'll see you soon. Take care of yourself.